Hello, everyone. Welcome to Showbiz Today. I'm Jim Moray in Hollywood. Lauren Sidney is in New York. It remains unclear at this hour whether Michael Jackson will appear as scheduled in San Juan, Puerto Rico this weekend. Jackson has been in Mexico City for the past couple of weeks, and a source tells CNN the singer, who has already canceled tonight's show in Caracas, Venezuela, will not go to Puerto Rico. But the concert promoter in Puerto Rico tells CNN Jackson has a contract to appear there and that he is continuing preparations for the show.
I have checked with all people of responsibility in Michael Jackson's camp, and nobody knows anything about a cancellation. This is what they've told me. They've all told me they plan to proceed as normal and expect to arrive in Puerto Rico.
If Jackson does appear, it would be his first return to American soil since the beginning of an L.A. police investigation into allegations he sexually abused a teenage boy, a claim which Jackson denies.
It looks like the film Dark Blood will not survive the death of its star, River Phoenix. Production on the drama was still 3 weeks from completion when Phoenix mysteriously died in Hollywood. The production company expects the film project will fold in the next week. If Dark Blood officially folds, insurance companies would be responsible for picking up the costs. The film was budgeted at $10 million.
Holly Hunter took the Cannes Film Festival Award for Best Actress this year for her role in The Piano. The movie tied for Best Picture award at the festival, and it swept the Australian equivalent of the Oscars. As senior entertainment correspondent Bill Tush reports, all the honors are going to a rather unusual film.
She says it's her piano and she won't have him touch it.
Holly Hunter tackles the role of Ada in Jane Campion's The Piano. And when talking about a role, an actor will often say something like this.
It was a really incredible script to read, and unlike anything that I'd experienced before.
Except this time, here's a person who means it. The Piano, a story set in 19th century New Zealand, is walking away with trophy after trophy.
And it was a character unlike anything that I had done before. So the whole notion of, and also of going to New Zealand, was very appealing.
What came back from New Zealand was the story of the mute Ada, whose only love is her piano, until she meets the friend of her husband, a husband by way of an arranged marriage.
Undo your dress.
Hunter found that the period costumes added much to the film's eroticism.
In some way, they were kind of erotic. The repression of them, what they covered, and I really kind of enjoyed that dichotomy, that they seemed to be kind of pristine and purist and puritanical. And in fact, she exposed them to be something a little different.
Then there is Ada's eerie silence throughout the film.
It's a choice not to speak. It's not an inability to speak. But I definitely made the choice not to make it some traumatic childhood event. Like, you know, she was raped or something at the age of 6 and she couldn't speak anymore. Nothing that movie of the weekish.
In fact, overall, The Piano is a film with very little dialogue.
I think that some of the best movie makers around tell stories visually, and they rely very, very little on dialogue.
According to what's being said about it, The Piano just could be one of the best movies around. Bill Tush, CNN Entertainment News, New York.
This week, a lot of people in Sarasota, Florida, have international trade relations on their minds. That's because Sarasota is the home of a French film festival, and French filmmakers are complaining that their American counterparts may ruin their industry. CNN's Gary Tuckman sorts it all out.
What's billed as the only film festival in the world exclusively dedicated to French cinema doesn't take place in France. It takes place in Sarasota, Florida, which is all the more ironic because it's the U.S. film industry that could eventually do in the French film industry.
When you love the movies, when you love the cinema, it's normal you have to defend yourself.
Why do French actors like Gerard Depardieu feel defensive? It all has to do with U.S. and European GATT negotiations. GATT, or General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, would eliminate protectionism in many industries, including the film industry. In France, more than $200 million a year goes from the government to the film industry. What would happen to French cinema without it?
If film comes under the GATT treaty and subsidies are removed, it would destroy the French film industry.
We are really, in this affair, in favor of free trade against monopoly.
The monopoly, say French officials, would be in the form of a film industry with virtually nothing but American movies. The French say if GATT negotiators treat culture like a commodity, it could be curtains for French cinema.
The French film industry actually remains by far the strongest in Europe, and whereas many other countries, Germany, the UK, Spain, Italy, the film industries are in complete disarray.
As it is, only 1% to 2% of movies shown in the U.S. are French. And even in France, French-made movies are in the minority. Proponents of GATT hope it makes global trade more fair. But the French culture minister and others say they can't support GATT in the form it's in now, because they believe it would be most unfair to the people in their film industry. In addition, they say moviegoers across the world would quickly find out what they're missing.
What you Americans love is a French food, in a French wine, exists exactly the same thing, exists in our films. A taste, a pleasure of life.
French movie enthusiasts will continue to meet in Florida through the weekend, with many of them worried about the rough seas that might be ahead for their industry. Gary Tuckman, CNN, Miami.
The air dances with the waters, which brings the rain that feeds the land, that is home to the animals. All life dances together.
In a world so connected, choosing one environmental cause can be hard. EarthShare is 40 environmental charities working together. You and your company can help by calling 1-800-MY-SHARE.
All life lives, or doesn't, together.
Michael Crawford brings you the power and passion of Andrew Lloyd Webber. Set your spirits soaring with one of the greatest voices of our time.
The dawn was breaking, the world was waiting.
13 of Andrew Lloyd Webber's most memorable songs.
It's so easy to leave me and say you'll share with me one love, one lifetime.
Michael Crawford and the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra.
The power of the music of the
Feel the power.
I'm Frank Sesno. Join me for Late Edition, the last word in Sunday Talk. Labor Secretary Robert Reich tackles NAFTA and takes your calls. Sunday Talk on Sunday afternoon. Late Edition, 5 p.m. Eastern, here on CNN.
James Caan knew he wanted to act since college. His 1972 Academy Award nomination for The Godfather and his Emmy nomination that same year for Brian's Song were early testaments to his abilities. But Caan is the first to admit his career has had its share of ups and downs, and he remains critical of the Hollywood establishment. And in his latest role, James Caan shows audiences his most disturbed and disturbing character to date.
Same blood that runs my veins runs yours. Your flesh and bone.
Just plain old guy who wants his son back. And that's all. Now, that's what's spooky.
James Caan takes family ties to deadly extremes in this disturbing role as a psychopathic killer in Flesh and Bone. It's the latest in a string of movie roles, including Misery, For the Boys, Honeymoon in Vegas, and The Program, all marking a resurgence in Caan's 30-year film career.
There was a long hiatus that was self-induced. But thankfully, the press, in all honesty, and the critics have always been very nice to me. So my ability wasn't never doubted, and that's the good thing, and I have them to thank for that, The question only becomes, do the people who now are running the business, and, it's changed. It always changes. Do they care if you have ability or not?
How has it changed in your view? Has it changed for the better or for the worse?
Oh, no, for the worse. You have a lot of idiots up there now, don't you? I mean, you know, that's why you see Exorcist 94, Airport 93, Friday the 13th, 49. Great imagination, you know?
Kahn describes Flesh and Bone as anti-Hollywood, bucking a trend in recent films Kahn finds disturbing.
I think the big mistake that studio heads make, it offends me, is that they treat audiences, I'm speaking in a very general term, as people who have IQs that match the room temperature. And that's a very dangerous thing. You know, they underestimate their intelligence. They don't think. But the truth is they're in a position to give them better, and they don't do it.
Tabloids are another frustration for Kahn.
Ethics, I think, are just, along with culture, are gone. They're just gone. And that's frightening, and I think that's what these locusts, you know, those rag papers, prey on, you know, and that's an unfortunate thing. And people should show that they like to see nice things about people.
People saw nice things written about Kahn's latest effort. Flesh and Bone opened in theaters across North America last Friday, and after its first weekend, it finished #2 at the box office. Lauren?
Madonna is set to perform her Girly Show in Mexico City Friday and Saturday nights after religious groups tried to block the performance. The head of Mexico's largest anti-abortion group calls the Material Girl a promoter of Satanism. Madonna's newest movie, meanwhile, will open in New York this week in only one movie theater. The name of the film has been changed from Snake Eyes to Dangerous Game, and it had to be altered slightly to avoid an NC-17 rating. Natalie Merchant is launching a solo music career after leaving the group 10,000 Maniacs. But she and the band are going out in a whirlwind of final projects. The singer talked with Mark Shearer about her future, her friends, her favorite causes, and why the former Cat Stevens is in her doghouse.
There was resentment, there was anger, there was frustration, but I think at this point they understand why I did it, and I think they thank me for, doing it as humanely as possible.
Merchant and the Maniacs say goodbye with 2 versions of the Unplugged CD, the limited edition coming wrapped in paper made in Nepal and distributed through the catalog of a natural beauty products company.
The Body Shop is trying to do something sort of in the same spirit of organizations like Oxfam, who try to make people self-sufficient with technologies that exist in their countries already. It says 10,000 Maniacs Natural Music because there's no way to translate MTV Unplugged.
How do you think Maniacs translates?
I don't know. Maybe excited people. 10,000 excited people. 10,000 happy people.
So their minds are soft and lazy.
Merchant and REM's Michael Stipe, who sang together on Clinton inaugural night, collaborate with a song on a new pro-choice fundraising CD. She gets a lot of questions about their relationship.
Went on a couple dates, but I think we're better friends than whatever we tried to be, which was we're better friends.
Definitely no friend of Merchant's is Yusef Islam, formerly Cat Stevens. The band stopped performing Peace Train and took their version of it off subsequent pressings of one of their albums.
When he started joining the crowds of people calling for the death of Salman Rushdie, it just took a lot of the pleasure out of singing a song that I thought was about pacifism.
When Natalie Merchant, the solo artist, emerges after a winter of songwriting, she expects more of her individuality will emerge too.
That's exciting to me to know if I succeed or fail. It's because it'll be exposed. It'll be because it's me. It's my opinion. It's my vision. It's my art.
Monday.
Now I felt it was the right time to focus on something that would distract me from helicopters over my house.
As she awaits her next appearance in court, alleged Hollywood madam Heidi Fleiss unveils her new line of sleepwear in a fashion show exclusively for CNN.
Here we have Andre, and he's modeling a Rebel pattern here with unique features. There's a condom pocket, safe sex, and they're not for only studio executives or rich people or Hollywood people.
Inside Heidi's house on the next Showbiz Today.
Hi, I'm Burt Reynolds. In the last 4 years, my friends Michael Landon and John Ritter have been telling you about Where There's a Will, There's an A video for students that has literally turned C and D students into A students. almost overnight. Well, that sure aroused my curiosity. Their hope was to help thousands of students do better in school. Well, this program has exceeded everyone's wildest expectations. Over 1 million grade school, high school, and college students have watched these tapes. 1 million. And the results have been incredible.
I went from straight C's and D's to straight A's and B's.
My grade point average went up from a 1.8 to a 3.0, and I made the honor roll for the first time.
They have studied less, been more productive, and all 3 of our children are receiving straight A's in school.
A year and a half ago, I had a 2.1 GPA, and as a result of the seminar, I'll be graduating in May with a 3.8.
This seminar teaches students how to learn more in less time with higher retention. The seminar's techniques are effective in all subject areas: reading, spelling, math, English, writing, foreign languages, sciences, and social studies. The 1993 grade school, high school, and college editions are each available on 2 video cassettes or 4 audio cassettes and include the seminar manual. Listen, your child's education is the most important contribution to their future you'll ever make. Don't just tell them how to get better grades. Give them a tool that will make it possible. And here's how.
Call 1-800-331-5100. Have your credit card available when you call. Where there's a will, there's an A is the perfect gift for any grade school, high school, or college student. And if you order more than 1 set, you'll receive a 20% discount on all additional sets. So call now, 1-800-331-5100. 1-800-331-5100.
Time now for Dennis Michael to join us with his weekly update on the latest arrivals at your local video store. Hi, Dennis.
Those thuds you hear in the distance are what's arriving at the video store. New this week, Sharon Stone goes from Basic Instinct to a movie that basically stinks.
Would you look at her? She's a voyeur. She can't get enough.
Sliver is another one of those hot chillers, sex and violence in the Basic Instinct mode, with one character who has a totally different take on the idea of 500-channel television. Anyone who felt he didn't get enough sex and violence in the theatrical release will be happy to know there's an uncut version headed for the video store. Heavy on sensation, but not for the sensible or the sensitive.
You really don't realize what you like when you write those books, do you? It's like watching Jekyll turn into Hyde.
A writer kills off his nom de plume only to discover his pen name doesn't want to play dead. The Dark Half is another in the long list of Stephen King novels that did not survive translation to the big screen.
Whoa, downwind! Whoa.
And speaking of failure to survive, the late Bernie is back in Weekend at Bernie's 2. Although the original was kind of a guilty pleasure among slapstick comedies, the sequel is totally unnecessary, although it is worth noting that Terry Kaiser outacts Andrew McCarthy while playing a corpse. For that, maybe you should get a little plaque or something. In fact, I'd be willing to bet Andrew McCarthy's mom won't even want to rent this one out.
Ooh, that's painful.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
that's the way
okay.
it is this week.
We'll see you next week.
Okay.
Lauren, back to you.
Dennis. The folks at the Caldor chain of stores along the East Coast decided that Howard Stern's best-selling book, Private Parts, is just too raunchy for their taste, so they won't sell it. But beyond that, they altered the New York Times bestseller list that they display in their stores, wiping Stern off of the #1 spot. The folks at the New York Times were not amused. They protested, and Caldor's agreed to restore Stern's book to the bestseller list, although they still refuse to sell it. Author Paul Krasner takes us inside the counterculture of the 60s and 70s in a new book, and that's just one of this week's new releases on the shelf.
I was in a position to meet a lot of people, from Lenny Bruce to Abby Hoffman to Ken Kesey to John Lennon, and put them all in the context of this kind of social history, but almost like a satirical history, because the times that I write about in the 50s and the 70s were so bizarre that you had to develop a method to tell whether you were making something up or it was really happening.
The whole book is about those kinds of experiences we all have when nobody is there to check on us or supervise us. For me, it's like a conversational encounter between my dummy and myself as a sort of ventriloquist act. And those are the places a lot of the best stories that we know take place, but we wouldn't tell them to someone else.
I'm sort of the Ralph Nader of the voiceover business. I'm not looking to teach people. I'm not looking to make you a real. I am looking to educate you and give you guidance. And that is why the book came, and certainly the next step, which was the audio book.
Everyone thought they'd be like crotchless or like, you know, your nipples showing or garter belts or lace or something, and it's the opposite. It's very conservative, and it's nothing at all to what people thought it would be.
In a changing world, one company is changing the way the world communicates. With the nation's #1 cable network year after year, and the world's leader in television news. From the fastest 30-minute news service to original productions, sports, and timeless motion pictures. And now, the one and only 24-hour Cartoon Network. Programming for the world at Turner Broadcasting today.
Face it, tap water just tastes and smells awful. And buying bottled water costs a fortune. And it doesn't always taste that good.
That's right, Dick. In a blind taste test, Sterling Spring won hands down.
Introducing the Sterling Spring 4-stage water filter. Now get over a year's supply of clean, fresh, great-tasting water for just 3 cents a gallon. And it'll fit your tap in 5 minutes, guaranteed.
From our cooking to our coffee, Sterling Spring makes everything taste great.
Sterling Spring fits on top of or under the counter and was awarded the Water Quality Association Gold Seal. And its replaceable cartridge is validated to remove lead. Now it's yours for 3 low payments of $33.30. Order now and receive this gift certificate for an additional replacement cartridge, a $30 value, free.
Remember, good water is important to your health, and it shouldn't cost a fortune. Here's how to order.
To order your Sterling Spring for 3 low payments of $33.30 and receive your bonus replacement cartridge certificate, have your checkbook or credit card ready and call 1-800-257-1257 now. Or mail payments plus S&H to the address shown. Call now.
Presidents, journalists, stars, and others relive memories of the Kennedy assassination. November 22nd, 1963. Where were you? A Larry King TNT special. Sunday, November 21st on TNT.
Finally today, after training Hollywood stars from Robert De Niro to Sylvester Stallone in the boxing ring, Jimmy Gambino is trying to win a fight to knock out moviegoers with a boxing story of his own. Gloria Hillard has this report.
In Rocky, he was Mike, ringside and taking the punches, and it was a perfect bit of Hollywood typecasting. You see, the first time Jimmy Gambino hit a bag like this one, he was just 7 years old. His father was Ralph Gambino, who trained Sugar Ray Robinson and Rocky Marciano. And it was in his gym that a young Jimmy came to love and respect fighters.
I fell in love with boxing. And I fell in love with fighters because they were the most honest and straightforward guys that I could possibly have dealt with in my life.
He dreamed of being a fighter, but at 13, after being diagnosed with a degenerative bone disease, his biggest challenge would be not in the ring. The doctor said by the age of 18, he would be unable to walk. He proved them wrong, but years later, it would happen. At the age of 44, he was in a wheelchair.
I went down and they said I'd never walk again. And, you know, I seen a vision in my life that I knew I was going to walk. I found that the mind rules the body, and I really believe that. And you can do anything if your mind is in the right place.
To help illustrate that, during Rocky, when Gambino was not only starring with, but also training Stallone, he was in disabling pain.
There was nights when I came home that once I got to my car, I was completely disabled. And I would pray in my room by myself without my family for me to get up the next morning to finish this film.
Gambino also trained John Voight for The Champ and Robert De Niro for Raging Bull.
I love people. And when I find somebody that I'm connected to, I want them to fulfill that dream.
Gambino's has been to do his own film. Now it looks as if that's about to come true. It's a story he wrote about a tough on the outside, heart of gold on the inside fighter. His friend, Paul Williams, is scoring the picture.
That's it.
And is getting a little workout in the process.
I've always loved boxing. And part of training with Jimmy was always kind of living that fantasy. If I can get a feel for basically what his fighters are going through and get some of the parallel emotions maybe that will find their way into the score.
For Gambino, the film represents a giving back to the fighters who have given him so much.
If you can be the best you can be, you can do anything you really want to do.
Yeah.
Gloria Hillard, CNN, Los Angeles.
Stormy doesn't know. Well, that's the final round for this edition of Showbiz Today. Please join Bill Tush tomorrow for Showbiz This Week from the set of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. That's after the news update at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, right here on CNN. In Hollywood, I'm Jim Moray.
And in New York, I'm Lauren Sidney. And a short programming note for our viewers in the United States. Beginning on Monday, Showbiz Today will be repeated at 12:30 a.m. Eastern and once again at 4:30 a.m. Eastern as well. And for everybody here at Showbiz Today, have a terrific weekend, and we hope to see you.
Sotoflex. Call now for your free Sotoflex brochure.